and the best-selling author of Adventures for Your Soul, and I'm an international life coach. I'm here today to talk to you about something that's been coming up in the world. No matter where you are, this is very prevalent, and it's happening across all borders, boundaries, everywhere. And that is fear. That is negativity. That is doubt. What I'm seeing across the world, and especially in my own life, and even in my life coaching practice, and many readers have reached out to me and expressed this disheartening concern for the world. They feel like their dreams aren't coming true. They feel stuck. They feel terrified of specific outcomes. And that's what I want to talk to you today about. This is a completely free workshop to help you reclaim your power and help you cope with extreme negativity and fear. I have tips that I put together to help us move through this uncertain time. And this is not a conversation around politics, although there is an undertone, because we cannot escape that politics is a huge force in the world right now, especially in the American culture, but we're seeing it in all countries. This is also an economic conversation, a spiritual conversation, a physical and emotional and a personal conversation. Because every single one of us, and you're tuning in, thank you for watching, you're tuning in because something about the name, the title, caught your eye. Because we are in a time of more fear than we have ever experienced on planet Earth before. So it is so important for us to move forward together, collectively, with grace, confidence, and love. And so I've put together a workshop to help us move forward, and I'm going to share 4 main problems that are happening and that are keeping us stuck in fear. And then I'm going to share the solutions to help us move forward. The very first one that I'll share for you today is that we think that the contrast is bad. We think that the contrast on planet Earth is actually a bad thing. And we're looking at it, if you see something or think something or believe something that is different than me, then you're bad, I'm right. And we try really hard to make sure to prove our point. Now, here's also what's happening. No matter where you stand on the political spectrum, we all have judgment. We're judging other people, and there's a lot of separation of them versus I. And there's a lot of judgment because we can't understand how other people think that way. And we put more judgment out into the world. And the reality is this judgment is a fear-based reaction because humans, by default, fear what they do not understand. We are all acting on autopilot because there's a lot of things that we do not understand happening, no matter what your beliefs are, no matter who you voted for. This is happening on a major level. So we see the news come in and we see all these things and we get into these mindsets and then we put judgment out into the world. Well, this is keeping us stuck. This is actually a trick that fear does to keep us hooked into fear and away from love. So the solution is to actually look at everyone as brothers and sisters, because every single one of us are human. We all have skin. We all some of us have hair, not all everyone. But the point is, we all have organs inside of us. We have a heart. We have a brain. We are living and breathing vessels. And we all have a need to be loved and a need to be understood. And none of us are feeling understood. None of us. So the solution isn't to keep judging. The solution is to not to keep throwing fear out into the world, but it is to recognize that the contrast is actually a beautiful jumping off point for us to align with what it is that matters most to us. So we can stop by looking at the contrast on Earth as bad, because it's part of being here. There's nobody in the world who's going to see things the exact same way. We are different, and so we can celebrate these uniquenesses, and instead of pushing them away, we embrace them because we can learn from each other. So I want you to ask what it is you fear. Where have you been judging? Looking out and saying, I don't understand that, that's wrong. Where have you been fearing and judging a situation, a person, an outcome? And how can you send more love to it? Okay? This is really the task here. So the second problem that's happening is that we all have expectations and they are not aligning with reality. I want you to think about where you've been feeling the most stressed out and where your worry is coming from. What is in your life right now that is causing you the most anxiety and pain? And then ask yourself, is this because my expectation is different than what is currently happening and what I'm experiencing? Because we all go into situations and we think things will work out a certain way, or we hope that they will manifest into the way that we see them in our head. And most of us are living up in our head, creating these realities, and then the reality is not the same. And we're looking at these expectations that have not manifested, and we fall victim to the complete, utter frustration of fear. That's what happens. And so what I want you to do is to look at your current outcome and see where things are not lining up to what you thought. And you ask yourself, what thoughts did I have that led me here? What have I been thinking? What was I hoping? What was I trying to make happen and manifest that didn't happen? And what this usually happens when we do this is we feel blame. We feel guilty because what's happening isn't what we really thought. We know how to think about positive thoughts, and we do all the work the self-help authors think we should do, and we focus positively forward. But then the person still says they don't want to be with us. Or something happens in the news that causes a lot of fear, frustration, and anxiety and worry. Or your boss tells you, we don't want you to work here anymore. All these devastating things that happen completely shatter us and take us out of the life moments. And this is because our expectations are so incredibly tight. And so if you have an expectation that is really ruining your life, I want you to, instead of looking at why your life is not like how you thought it would be, simply go into a full surrender. Now, a full surrender is letting grace in. A full surrender is trusting that the universe has a plan greater than yours. A full surrender is to turn all of your attention and believe in your future. In your future self, in the country's future, in your family's future, in your specific career future. Believe in the future. And so instead of focusing so much on how what is happening is not aligning with what you wanted, align with your truth inside, which is a surrender of letting grace and love in. And see how that works for you, because this is a powerful tool. Anytime we feel overwhelmed with anxiety, it is often because we're trying to control the outcome. And then we see that the outcome is not at all what we had hoped. So we get more anxiety. The fix is to go into a deeper meditation, allow yourself to be where you are instead of where you think you should be, and trust that everything is in divine order. And the more we can trust that everything is in divine order, the more we can take action from a place of empowerment versus fear. And this brings us to problem number 3 that I see happening across all over the world, and this is really the heart of the issue, is that we are not believing in our own personal power. So many of us are giving our power away. We're letting other people tell us what and how we should think. We're letting other people, whether it's a culture, a society, a whole government system, or our own significant other, telling us how we should feel about ourselves. The fix, and what I am committed and why this workshop is happening right now, this completely free content, is because we have to commit to our personal power. We have to commit to believing in ourselves and our worth. That is the fix to all of the fear happening on the planet. If all of us become self-empowered by choosing love for ourselves and choosing compassion for our brothers and sisters and family and loved ones, we can raise the vibration of the planet. Because right now, we are all in so much fear, and we're deviating. We're running away from ourselves. I've talked to people who are stress eating a lot, gaining weight. I talk to other people who are doing things they never would before, like things like polluting their body or other things that are showing up and they don't know why, but they're reactive. And we've been in a reactive state. Fear happens and we shut down or we react in a way that would not normally serve us. And it's not really serving us because we want to return to ourself. And a lot of what's happening is we're in desperate state of a community. Many of us are coming together in thousands and millions. Our voices, we want them to be heard. And we speak up and we do these fabulous marches and we're trying to say this matters to us. That is important, to speak your truth, because when's the last time you did that? Speaking your truth is so important, but don't do it at the hand of someone else. Don't do it by taking someone else down. And this is what I really want to get to. We cannot hate through our own love. When you are in love, you will not be casting hate. You will not be casting judgment because you are so connected to love and you understand the bigger picture. And that's where we really want to go. This is a very advanced principle that I want to share because what's happening is if we don't honor our own needs, then we can't come together collectively as a group and make positive change in the world. And so we first have to address our own side of the street. And so instead of looking out there and saying, what's wrong out there, I want you to look inside and say, where have I been dishonest with myself? Where have I given my power away? Who have I not said what I need to say to? What is the most important thing within me that wants to be out in the world? What dream have I sacrificed? These are the things we need to ask ourselves, because when we clean up our insides, our outside world will reflect. The Course in Miracles talks about your internal state is always manifested, and the outside state is a reflection of our internal state. So all we're witnessing here in the world, this massive amount of fear, this major pain and frustration and negativity and casting judgment, is because our internal state of affairs is completely out of alignment. And so what we can do is balance ourselves, take care of yourself, show up for yourself. Show up for yourself means listening to your intuition when it says, I should speak up, or I should do something, I should start a blog, I should speak out my truth, I should go spend more time with loved ones. For me personally, I have not been on social media hardly ever because I'm always on social media. I love connecting with people and my readers, but over the past week or two, it's hard to even post one a day, because I'm so in the state of all I want to do is be with friends and family. All I want to do is connect with loved ones and show them how much I care. And so my priorities have shifted, and I'm 100% committed to those who are in my life. And that is my priority. So what is your priority? Make it a priority and focus on it. At the same token, I am 100% focused on self-care. I have never in my life taken such good care of myself, because I know when I show up for me, I can show up for the world. And my mission is to help you trust yourself and help you empower yourself. And I can't do that if I'm not doing that for myself. So you can't show up for others until you do it for yourself. So ask yourself what is the outcome you're trying to do? And then realign with your own personal power and believe in yourself. And you can do this by loving yourself, caring for yourself, and showing up daily. The fourth and final problem that I'll share in our workshop today is that we are counting on things and situations outside of ourselves to make us feel better. Every single one of us has a situation in our life that is not going as well as we want. And every single one of us is in a situation where many of us are trying so hard to move forward, but we feel the negativity and the pain, and it's cycling back. And what's happening is we're looking outside of ourselves. We want to make things better, because of out there, that situation will change, and we need outside situation to change for us to be better on the inside. But in fact, the opposite is true. And so I want you to think about your own life. Where have you been giving your power away? And where do you feel the most out of alignment? Because the chances are what's happening for you is this fear is coming in, the negativity, the judgment, and shame and guilt, because we are not in a place where we are, one, honoring our own capacity to help others and our own ability to make a difference just by healing our own selves. But also we're looking for the things to change out there before we can feel better. I did this for many years. I wanted to lose weight so I could feel better. And then I realized, holy crap, you don't have to lose weight. You can feel better right now. And then I started losing weight. And the same thing, manifesting a soulmate, all the things you want happen when you first focus on yourself showing up as you are, not waiting for the situation to change. So instead of waiting for the climate, the government, the society to have more money in your bank account, what can you do today to feel better in the moment? And this does come back to feelings. It all comes back to you feeling good. Jerry and Esther Hicks, Abrahams, some of the teachers that I absolutely love, talk about the feelings and the guidance system. And you want to align with good feelings. And most of us right now are in fear, judgment, pain, frustration, guilt, stress, anxiety. And that's low-level feelings. Those are feelings that make you feel depressed and anxious and stressed out. And what we want to do is climb our ways to better feeling feelings. And you can do this by saying, I feel so overwhelmed right now, and I am completely at a loss. I don't know what to do. And so you address your feeling by going straight into it. And as you go into it, you can raise the vibration because you let it move through you versus eating over it or doing drugs or all the things we tend to do to try to fight these feelings. Let the feeling come through you. And as you do that, you then raise to something that might feel better and say, okay, now I'm complacent. Now I'm just bored and I don't really understand, but at least I'm not in judgment or fear. And then we gently move ourselves up, and we move ourselves up to a higher state to eventually get to kindness, to get to compassion, and the highest of all, love and joy. And you want to align with yourself in joy. I have a beautiful friend who I talked to a couple weeks ago, and that was right after the politics were happening. The American president was just voted in, and there was a lot of negative news the first week, a lot of negative news. And we were talking to each other, and she had called me, I called her, and she said, it's interesting because the whole world is like freaking out and there's a lot of back and forth right now, and I spent the whole day in self-care. I had a beautiful workout, I took a bath, and I just treated myself like a beautiful princess. And I smiled and I laughed and I said, that's exactly what we should all be doing, because we're giving our power away by looking outside of ourselves and thinking that these things out there have to be different. We have to control our own environment. And if you can take this moment and control your environment as it is, then you have the power to take that out into the world, and that vibration will lift up every single thing on the planet. So you owe it to yourself to really take care of you and know that your happiness does not come outside. It all starts in here, okay? So the final part that I want to do with you today is the fix for all of this is really a simple part. I want you to align with your own personal power. This means that we stop looking outside of ourselves and we go back inward and say, I am powerful. I can make a difference. I am enough as I am. And as we start to change the dialogue within our head to feeling I am powerless, I can't do anything, this is overwhelming, to I can make a difference. I can show up and make positive change. This conversation changes the whole entire state of affairs. So the reality is, do not abandon yourself. Show up for yourself daily. Every single day, show up for you, okay? And the second fix that I really want to share is to actually heal your heart. The reason all of this is happening in the planet is because everything is energy. And there's been an energetic shift. All of this is coming up, the fear, the anxiety, because we've all been feeling it on a deep level. We may have not addressed it, and so now we're being forced to address the things we have not addressed before. What our beliefs are, how we really see the world, what is important to us, what do we really care about. These are the things we have to ask ourselves on a daily basis and commit to them. And this means that we do not abandon ourselves. We get very clear within ourselves. And if something is not working, you have to ask yourself, can I shift this belief? Can I be more compassionate and see a bigger picture? And the third one that I want to share with you, I have 2 more tips, the fix to help you move out of fear and negativity and cope with this extreme madness on the planet, is to let go of what is not meant for you. I mean this with such sincerity, because we're carrying around beliefs, we're carrying around thoughts, we're carrying around habits, and even points of view that may not be working. And I want you to be ruthless in letting go of what is not meant for me. This includes relationships that are no longer serving you. This includes specific physical situations and even jobs. Because when we can commit to ourselves and align with what is joyful versus keeping toxic energy, people, places, things in our life, then we stay in this toxic fear-based thoughts. We stay in this energy of heaviness. So you owe it to yourself, and the power question that I would love for you to answer, along with all the other questions in the workshop, is what is it I am ready to let go of? Better yet, ask yourself, what can I let go of right now? Right now. What no longer serves me? Okay? And the fourth and final tip that I will share with you today to end this workshop, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, live your life with such purpose, joy, and abundant love. Because what's happening is we are abandoning our own self and we are not living our life. We are not choosing to live our life, but this is an opportunity for you to go forth and show the world that you can live your life. You can travel. You can book that ticket to that retreat. You can invest in the things that you've wanted to do for so long. So many of us have these goals for the year and we have these dreams. And what's happening is we're going back on our dreams because the world is uncertain. Show up. The more you can be you, the better off we will all be, because the world needs you just the way you are. So go live your life. Go play with the world. And I hope this workshop to help you move through fear and manifest more love in your life has served you. Thank you so much for showing up today. I would love to hear your comments below. As well, please share with loved ones who think this message can help uplift and inspire. Thank you. I'll see you guys next week with a powerful message.